Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Donnie here, and I'm back with another installment in my classic movie spotlight series. Right now, we're in the month of August, which unfortunately means that summer is going to be coming to an end fairly soon. I know this is bad news, but with the end of summer comes fall. Fall is my favorite season, and one of the reasons why a lot of people are excited for the season is because with fall comes football. Everyone gets excited for football. That's my favorite sport, and I figure this is the right time to talk about this film. Um, Now, this film isn't exactly a sports film, but football does play a major part in the plot, so I figured it was the right time to discuss it. It's called The Fortune Cookie. It's from 1966. It's directed by the legendary Billy Wilder, and it stars Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. Now, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau are one of my favorite comedy duos. And when you think of comedy duos, you think of Abbott and Costello, Lauren Hardy, Burns and Allen, Martin and Lewis, and maybe Lemmon and Matthau aren't really held in the same regard, but they should be. They made 11 films together. I've been a fan of theirs since I was a kid. I used to watch their films Grumpy Old Men and its sequel Grumpy Old Men with my grandfather, so they're very special. And I wanted to seek out more films starring them, and I found this film Fortune Cookie on Turner Classic Movies, and I fell in love with it. It's actually the first film that these two ever starred in together. So I'll talk a little about it. It's a really nice film. So in the film, Jack Lemmon plays Harry Hinkle, and he's a TV cameraman who's recording a game with the Cleveland Browns. And during the game, the star running back Luther Boom Boom Jackson, who's played by Ron Rich, runs off the sideline and directly into Harry. And Harry gets taken to the hospital. There at the hospital, we meet his brother-in-law, Willie, who was played by Walter Matthau in an Oscar-winning role, actually. Um, and Willie kind of devises this plan. Here, he hears about Harry suffering a childhood accident, which left him with a compressed vertebrae. And even though the accident at the game has nothing to do with this, his injuries are actually relatively minor. He wants to play up this fact and wants to get a better settlement for it. Harry's kind of reluctant to go along with the scheme. He's a very honest character. He's not like, Willie is the stereotypical shyster lawyer, but Harry does agree to go along with it because he's still pining for his ex-wife Sandy and figures that this may bring her back into his life. So they kind of they're gonna play up the injuries and make them seem much more serious than they actually are. Uh, well, one of the lawyers in the insurance company is very skeptical of them, and they decide to hire a private investigator to tail Harry and see if they can catch him in the act and expose his scheme. And so the whole film kind of becomes this game of cat and mouse between them, and you wonder if he's going to get exposed or not, and because it's very interesting. So I know this is a bit of an underrated film, and even though it's old, a lot of people probably haven't seen it. So if you don't want it spoiled, if you don't want the ending spoiled, I recommend stopping now, and I'll put in the description box what parts for you to skip. So the film kind of becomes this great character study, as you see Harry become ravaged with guilt. The character, especially when it comes to Boom Boom Jackson, they develop this friendship, but Jackson has so much guilt over what he's done, what he's supposedly done to Harry. That he starts playing poorly, he's getting booed by the fans, he gets in trouble when he gets into a bar brawl, and seeing Jackson go through this really affects Harry. And then, even though he's happy to have Sandy back in his life, he realizes that she's only back in out of greed. So, uh, eventually it just comes to a head and he can't take it anymore. And when the private investigator makes some racist comments about Jackson, Harry lunges at him and hits him, and jumping out of his wheelchair, and he's then exposed. He's then exposed. But at this point, Harry doesn't care, and he does a great bit of physical comedy. The scene it's one of my favorite physical comedy bits I've ever seen in a movie. He starts jumping around and swinging from the curtain rod, and you know, um, for the camera that's recording his every move. He wants to show. He just wants to make it very clear he's not injured at all, because And even though he's gonna get in trouble, he doesn't care at this point. He's just happy to be free from the guilt. So this film got a lot of acclaim at the time. Walter Matthau, I mentioned, won the Oscar for his performance for Best Supporting Actor. It was also nominated for its screenplay, its cinematography, and its art direction. So, but it's kind of, fallen under the radar, but I really wanted to highlight it. Really enjoy this film. It's very funny, but it has its serious moments. This was kind of, that was kind of the theme of many of Billy Wilder's films. They're very, they're comedies, but they're very heartfelt. And there's some great performances. Walter Matthau steals the show and has, provides some very funny moments. So I highly recommend it. Have you, let me know in the comments. Have you ever seen this film? Have you ever seen any other Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau movies? What do you think about them? And as always, I'm always open for new suggestions for video topics. Movies, TV shows, whatever, whatever. So like, comment, subscribe. The works. And until next time, take it easy.